2011 CRV outer tie rod ends. If your tie rod ends have play like this, it's definitely time to change them. These are a serious safety concern. As soon as they start wearing and have any play like that, you need to change them, because if that joint comes apart, your wheel's just going to turn wherever it wants and you're almost guaranteed to crash. So today we're going to be installing some very nice steering parts from Mevotech. These are from their Supreme line. And yeah, we get the hardware with them. You know, pretty standard replacement joint, but that's what we're going to be installing today. This is a pretty simple job. So let's get to it. All right, guys, once you get the vehicle jacked up and remove the wheel, here is our outer tie rod end. This is the piece that we're going to be changing. Now this threads into or onto the inner tie rod end. And you can see the exposed threads that are here. And then we've got a 24mm jam nut that locks the two together. On the end here, where the outer tie rod end attaches to the steering knuckle, we have a 19mm nut with a cotter pin that goes through to just add extra security so that if the nut were to ever back off, it can't physically come off. Now, to get the wheel off, it's just 5 19mm wheel nuts, and that's going to bring us to this point. Before I go ahead to take anything off, the first thing I'm going to do is clean these threads. We want this nut to be able to move so that when this vehicle goes to get an alignment, the guy that's doing the alignment is able to freely move this to whatever position he needs to set the alignment properly. Very important. So what I'm going to do now is just grab my drill. I've got a little wire wheel on there, safety glasses. Probably wouldn't hurt to wear a mask, but you're just going to get in here and you're going to clean these up the best you can. Okay, once you get those threads cleaned up, I want you to just spray a little bit of penetrating oil on the threads. Okay, and the next step is to break that jam nut free. So grab yourself a 24mm wrench, and we want to go this way. We're going to pull backwards. And that's all I want to do. I just wanted to break that free so that it moves away from this. And we'll deal with this jam nut moving after we get this end off of here. Another important thing is you can see this boot stays stationary and then this needs to spin. So it's a good idea sometimes to just make sure that the clamp is on there, but also it needs to be free enough where it can move independently from each other. It's pretty important. So now what I'm going to do, I've got it broken free, but I still want it to be pretty much up against here without moving the jam nut. We need the jam nut to stay where it is for now so that we know roughly where our new tie rod end needs to thread onto. This inner tie rod end has threads that come out to maybe here. And like I say, right now the vehicle is lined up. However, once we take this jam nut off to clean the threads, we need to know where to put it back on so that the alignment is roughly where it was when we started in order to have the vehicle drive somewhat normally until you can get the alignment done, which you have to do. If you don't, the vehicle's not going to handle right and it's probably going to wear the tires off very fast. So now that we've got that done, next thing we need to do is remove the nut down here that secures the outer tie rod end to the steering knuckle. So we need to get this cotter pin out of the way, and usually they get rusted in there and just snap off. So seeing as we're replacing the joint, what I'm going to do is just get some pliers, and I'm probably just going to break the ends off because this thing isn't going to come out. If yours is loose and you can get it out, then just take it out. Just go back and forth a bunch of times. Break those off. Then we're going to get a 19mm socket and a hammer. And I'm just going to hammer. Oh, okay. Thought I was just going to have to hammer that on, but it went on no problem. We're just going to take this off. Now that we've got the nut off, we need to shock the knuckle in order to get this arm to come off. You can see the stud on the outer tie rod end is tapered and it gets jammed into the knuckle, and that's why it doesn't just come off. Now there is a special tool in order to separate these outer tie rod ends from the knuckle. However, I don't have one and I'm just going to use a hammer. So I'm going to hammer it right here on this nib. There you go. You can see from hammering it, we shock that, which then frees that taper from being stuck in there. And now we should be able to get this to twist off of here. It's a little bit rusty, but we just got to spin this counterclockwise, unthread the outer tie rod end from the inner tie rod end. Then we're going to compare the OEM tie rod end to our Mevotech and just see what the length difference is. Okay, so here it is. We're going to set these up side to side, and you can see that they've made them the same length. So that's good. So what we're going to do now is just take this nut off so we can take this plastic cover off. This protects the boot. And then I believe there might be a grease fitting underneath of this. Might need some pliers to get that off. And beautiful. Okay, so it's a greasable joint. That's what I like to see. Now, before we go ahead and put this on, like I say, we need to clean these threads so that this jam nut will move freely up and down the threads. What we're going to do is we can just take a quick measurement, basically from this face of the nut to the end of the tie rod, and we'll remember that distance so we know where to put the nut back to. But you can see here on the inner tie rod end, it is shaped so that we can put a wrench on here. You could also use vice grips if you don't have a wrench that'll fit this. But we need to hold the inner tie rod end, keep it from spinning, while we take this nut off of here, and then we're going to completely clean the threads and put the jam nut back on. All right, so I'm just using a digital caliper. You could just literally use a measuring tape or something. But you can see that's about almost 31 millimeters. So I'm just going to lock that in place so that we have our saved distance. And then now I'm going to hold this with a 19 millimeter wrench, and I'm going to take my 24 and we're going to break this nut free and back it all the way off. If you have a 24 millimeter socket on an impact gun, it's going to be a lot faster than using the wrench. All right, that's on there pretty tight. Kind of have no choice here but to bust out the old wrench. Oh, that's on there real tight. Well, what we're gonna have to do, I mean, for those of you at home, I mean, what you could do is just leave that and then, you know, let the alignment guy have to deal with it. They might charge you a little extra for some seize time. But I'm gonna use an induction heater and I'm gonna heat that up. The induction heater is nice. It wirelessly heats up that nut and any ferrous metal using eddy currents, and also obviously not using any fire. So that's a big plus. Our heat-proof shielding has melted off, so I really need new ends on this thing. We're kind of just electrocuting this right now. Hey guys, let's try this now. Yep, heat is the ticket here. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to the impact gun. We'll see if we can get this off now. Okay, now we're gonna go in with our wire wheel on a drill, and we're gonna clean all the threads up real nice, and we'll probably put some anti-seize on them. Okay, so for those of you wondering, the thread on here is an M14 by 1.5, and I'm actually going to use this dye to run over the threads to clean them up the best I can. So I'm spraying lots of penetrating oil on there, get it nice and lubed up. Now we're going to clean them. I'm going to need a wrench probably to hold that. Perfect, and then we're just going to wash this off a little bit. Okay, just give that a little wash. Put a little bit of this on there. Okay, so if you're reusing the jam nut, you can see that there's pretty much a flat side where it was pressed up against the outer tie rod end, and then on the other side it's the exposed side, which is kind of rough. I recommend making sure you put that back in the right space where the nice flat side that's been pressed up against the outer tie rod end is in its same orientation. And then just pretty much run this thing down. It should thread on, no problem. We want that to be just gravy going on there, just like you can see on one finger. Okay, so you can see we're further back than where we started. So let's just wind this back. Right about there. Okay, we're also going to condition this surface here where our seal's going to sit against. And we'll do the bottom as well. Just wash that bore out so that it's nice and clean. Now all we need to do is just thread this on. That goes on so nice. That's how it should be, guys. Okay, then once we get close, you'll notice sometimes, you know, you'll end up where it bottoms out on the nut, like there, except we need the stud to be the other way around. So just loosen this off, and then we're going to simply turn this inner tie rod end so that it tightens down. And just watch that nut there, right there. Okay, then drop this in. We'll get that nut started. You can see we have a castle nut here. There's castellations. It's the little slots that are in there where the cotter pin's going to pass through. And just going to hand snug this thing down. Okay, all right guys, we're going to torque this down to 40 foot-pounds. Okay, now we need to pay attention to where the hole is. You can see that the hole is over here. And if it doesn't line up with the castellation, I just want you to tighten the nut more until it does. Do not loosen the nut to have the castellations line up. You're going to tighten the nut. So now that's pretty well lined up. We're just going to throw a cotter pin through there. Everybody folds their cotter pins differently. It doesn't have to be anything insane, just as long as the cotter pin can't easily fall back out. That's all it's there for. In case that nut were to ever come loose, it can't physically fall off. Okay, now we're going to tighten down this jam nut, and there is a torque spec for it. I believe it's 32 foot-pounds. And like I say, if you want to put a little more anti-seize on those exposed threads, now that everything's all together, probably not a bad idea. But after changing any steering or suspension components, you always want to get a four-wheel alignment done from a professional shop. Very, very important. Like I say, if you don't, your tires are probably going to wear out or wear funny. And also the car just might not drive or handle the way it's supposed to. Okay, you guys, so that's pretty much it on how to remove and replace the outer tie rod ends on your 2011 CR-V. Now, these joints from Mevotech actually come pre-greased. However, there is a joint that's on them, so if you wanted to grease it more, that's completely up to you. Now, basically, all you got to do is put the wheel back on, and you're going to tighten down the wheel nuts in a 5-star pattern. Do 2 passes of that. The wheel torque is 80 foot-pounds from Honda. Personally, myself, I put them to 100. But after about 60 miles or 100 kilometers of driving, you should get the wheels retorqued just to ensure that everything's tight and safe. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up if it helped. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. If you wanted to check out these Mevotech outer tie rod ends or any of the other parts they have a lot of parts. You can go to mevotech.com. And I guess I'll catch you in the next one. So this outer tie rod end, I did pump like 3 shots of grease into it. And I know they say that it comes, you know, pre-filled with grease or at least some assembly grease. But personally myself, I just gave it a couple shots just to really load it up with some grease. So I just thought I'd tell you that it can accept some grease and you should probably put some grease in it.